What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shavita, the Behavior and Literacy Strategist, coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for both your child's behavior and literacy challenges. What is going on? Happy Saturday, y'all. It's been a very hectic day, and after this live, I'm gonna be chilling out, probably watch some movies, enjoy the Saturday. I hope you're enjoying your Saturday. Okay. But it's been very busy all day today. I had some phone consultations, and I had some video consultations. The phone consultations where I meet with moms and find out the challenges moms are having and the concerns, what they want to accomplish. And then the video consultations where I meet with the kids for the first time and I see them in action. Okay, I see what they know, what they don't know as far as literacy, and then also math. And mom is interested in math as well, and what's holding them back, and how they focus, how they don't focus when it's time to do their work. Okay, so it's a lot of stuff going on with there. And then I had an action plan today where I met with mom. Action plans I do with moms on a monthly basis to look at the goals we set for their kids, to see the progress, and to figure out the goals for the next month. Okay, we accomplished this, what's next? Or this goal is almost mastered. We're going to keep this for a little while longer until it's mastered. We're going to add this. It's a very good action plan. Very good. Mom is very happy with the progress that her son is making. He's making a lot of strides, okay? So that's going on. And then I have my classes, my Saturday classes that I teach. So it's very busy today. Oh, I forgot. I also took Maya to her dance class. She's in ballet and tap. So we did that first. And in between all that, I had some time to make myself some salmon cakes, grits, and eggs. So, really hectic day. I am excited to talk to y'all today about this topic. Oh my goodness, this is a game changer. I know I say that about all the topics. I know that I say I'm passionate about everything, so I'm just a passionate person. But this one, y'all, getting our children to study and do homework independently is a game changer, let me tell you, okay? So why I want to talk about this is because this has been a passion of mine for years. I've been teaching since I was in my mid-20s. I started teaching as a substitute teacher, and then I was able to get a permanent special education class for the year. I was so excited because my background was behavior modification, social skills. I was a mental health specialist first. So I wanted to help kids improve their behavior and learn how to read and do well in school at the same time. I got the opportunity. So I've been doing this for a while. And I've learned right from the start that my students were doing so bad academically and struggling so much with their literacy and math, academically overall, because not just because they had behaviors that were getting in the way, but because they had too much help. They had too much help, okay? They had, at home, they had a lot of help from moms that weren't doing it by themselves. In school, they had help from teachers and from the aides. I actually got into it with my student, with the aides that were in the class with me. I went through a couple because they did not like how I did things. They didn't like it. They didn't like it because I didn't let them spell for my students. And I said, no, don't spell it for them. If you spell it for them now, you're going to be spelling it for them the whole year. Okay, and I still strongly believe in that. I don't spell for my students. I teach them how to spell. Okay, I have strategies where they figure it out on their own. Okay, and I don't spell for them. I don't read things for them, anything like that. And when kids have so much help, they get used to it, and then they start to sit down and they're like waiting for an adult to help them. I'm not going to do this unless you help me. I'm not gonna I know I'm gonna get it wrong unless you help me. That means they feel like failures all the time. Okay, so if we want our children to improve, if we want them to function we want them to excel, we want them to be able to sit down and whatever the teacher throws at them, they can handle it. Then we have to teach them how to function independently. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about teaching our children how to study and do homework independently, okay? And it's not just them feeling confident they can do it themselves. It's not just about that. It's about them knowing that this is your responsibility. You have to do it, okay? So, why don't we get started? Welcome if you're just joining. Thank you for coming, okay? We're talking about how to get our kids to function independently and study and do homework independently. That's what I mean specifically. But that's the goal when my students come into my program. The training wheels are off. Okay? It's time to do your work independently. It's time to write independently. It's time to read independently. It's time to do this by yourself. Okay? Hello, Takesha. Welcome. It's my homegirl. We're talking about getting our children to function independently when it comes to reading, comes to homework and studying. Okay? Number one, first thing I have up here is to set a goal for what you want your child to be able to do when it's time to do homework. Okay? Now, if it's time to do homework, and your child is wandering around and waiting for you, and they don't have their stuff ready, and it's a big ordeal, what do you want to see happen? What do you want your child to accomplish during homework time? Decide what it is that you want right off the bat. Write it down. Set a goal. Okay? When you set a goal, that gives you a direction. Right, Takesha? That gives you a direction of where you're going now, because you now have a goal of what you want it to look like. Right now it looks a mess. Okay? And this is what you want it to look like. So that's number one. Set a goal. Number two, believe that they can do it. Oh my gosh, kids are so good at acting in a way or behaving in a way that makes us feel like they just can't do it. They can't. They even might say, I can't do it. It's too hard. This is frustrating for me. This is a lot for me. This is too much for me. Every time I do this, it makes me tired. It makes me frustrated. I can't, all this stuff they talking, and they really brainwashing themselves, okay? We gotta change how our children think. But they're brainwashing themselves into really creating this perception that they cannot do it. They need help, okay? And they're so good at it that moms, because we have this little help button inside of us when it comes to our kids, we end up feeling like we got to be right there. We got to help them. They don't know. Let me get them help. Let me try to help them. Let me try to help them. Let me try to help them. The more help we give them, the less they do. And I want to say that again. The more we help our children, and I'm not saying we're not, I'm going to talk to you about how to do this in a way that they take the ball and they run with it. But the more we help, the more we try to figure out what else can I do, and what else does she need to be able to do this simple task, the task becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So what happens is when our children sit down, it's time for them to study, it's time for them to do their homework, they're not focusing on their homework or what they have to study. They're focusing on this perception that they created that it's too much, it's too hard. So they're going to come to the table with that. Now there's a disconnect between what they have to do and themselves. There's a buffer now, okay? I was just working with a student of mine earlier today with his reading, and when it was time for him to read a multi-syllable word, which is his goal, his new goal, because he mastered his sight words, he did it. Now we are working on that goal. It took him like 5 times to look at the word and be able to break it up, and then he realized that he could read the word. It took him like 5 times. If a word was in front of him, he was looking around, he was saying something that's not the word, he was just making stuff up, or he would say the first part and not finish it, he was doing all this stuff. It's not because he don't have the ability to do it, it's just because he's so used to not having to do it. Do you understand that? So when our kids are used to not having to do their homework by themselves, then the block happens. So they make it seem like they can't do it, but part of it, they start to believe they can. So that's why you have to believe that they can do it right off the bat. Okay? Now, when I say believe they can do it, they may sit down and this work they might not know everything on the page. They might not get everything correct on the page. So that's not the goal. And we have to understand this too. With kids, and I help kids become A students, and we have 4 students on the honor roll right now. We have more on the way, right? So I have high standards, and I like A's, okay? And I like kids excelling. But it's not, the goal when they first start doing it on their own is not to get everything right. It's to do the best that they can themselves first. Do the best that they can themselves first, right, Takesha? You sit down and you do it. And then after, well, if you want to discuss what you learned, or we review in my group, I review afterwards and stuff like that, they have to tell me what they did first so that I can know. That's how you know how your child learns, what they know already, what was a struggle for them, how much effort they put into it. They have to tell you first. They have to be the one doing the work, okay? So in order for that to happen, you got to believe they can do it. So when you sit down and you tell them, no, you do it. Do the best you can. And then when you finish, right, or when I come to check on you, this is what I want to see. You have to believe in your mind that even if today they're struggling, eventually it's going to be easy. Today they're struggling, but eventually it's going to get easy. Okay? That's Maya and Jazzy upstairs. Maya up there hollering. Number 3, tell them what you want. I kind of touched on this already. So, a lot of times kids be left, they think that they run their own show, okay? And we have to tell them exactly what we want studying to look like. What we want homework to look like, okay? I want you sitting down, I want you sitting up. I have a student that likes to put his chin on the table. What is that? We are in class. Pick your chin up, okay? Tell them how you want them to sit. Tell them you want their name and date on the paper. I was telling my student I want name and date on the paper. I want it written neatly. I want you to check over your work. I want. Use that phrase. And when you're saying that, I know some people probably would be thinking, oh, you just focusing on what you want and not what the kid. No. No. When you say I want to a child, what you're doing is you are establishing standards. So when you use that phrase, I want, that means for the child, this is where she or he is supposed to be, and they have to reach up to that level. Okay? So you tell them, I want it like this. This is what I want to see. I'm telling you, when I first started working in that class, the special education class I told y'all about years ago, that's what I would do with the simplest things. Before I had put the structure in place, when my students, they do their work, they had to have an aide right next to them. And then if they were sitting by themselves and the aide hadn't come over yet, or if I hadn't come over yet, they'll be like, I'm done, I need help, da-da-da, and all this other stuff. And I had to be like, whoa. First of all, that's disrupting the whole entire class. Second of all, I know you didn't put your best effort in, so this is what I want. I'm going to be sitting here at my desk doing what I need to do. When I look up, I want to see your pencils moving. I want to see your eyes on your paper. I want you sitting properly in your seat. When you are done, the way you can show me you're done is you're going to put your paper and your pencil at the top right corner of your desk. When I see that, and when I'm done what I'm doing, or I'm done working with this student, I will call you up. Okay? So telling them what you want them to be doing when they study is going to help a lot. That means that they're now focusing on what you told them to do and less on getting your attention. Now, moms, if you're at home and your child is always, when it's time for them to do their work, they're not doing nothing when you leave, or they just hurry up and do something wrong, waiting for you to come back and fix it, or they're getting distracted, or they actually use the bathroom, or they dropping their pencils, or I'm hungry, or whatever, right? What do you think happens in the classroom? They're doing the same thing, right? So we gotta teach our children to develop these habits to function independently. So we said set a goal, decide exactly what you want your child to accomplish when they're doing their study or independent homework. Number 2, you gotta believe that they can do it. Like no excuses. This is what I want. This is going to happen. And have that face, okay? Have that face. Moms, but we looking like it's not changing. Our kids start to understand that. And then they'll like, okay, I can't really play with mom right now. I actually have to do this, okay? So you gotta believe that they can do it. Don't doubt yourself. Number 3, tell them what you want, using I want. And tell them exactly how you want them to study, what you want to see. When you come back to check their work or review their work, how you want it to look, what you want them to have done, tell them what you want. Number 4, this is the part that's like a game changer in here too. A lot of people neglect this part. Have a behavior plan in place. Now, behavior is not a bad thing. I know behaviors can get extreme. They can be disruptive. They can cause stress, right? But behaviors they're just actions that kids develop over time to avoid doing things, to get their way, and it has worked, so they keep doing it. That's what behavior is, right? So while you're making this plan for what you want to have happen, what you want your child to accomplish during independent study time or homework time, they are looking at you like, this is how I'm going to get mom to come back. This is how I'm going to drive her crazy. This is how I'm going to make her start hollering. This is how I'm going. They're looking at you, trying to work you so that they don't have to do it, right? So you have to have a plan. You have to understand and just think about what your child does every time it's time for them to work and do something that they're responsible for. You have to think about that and have a plan in place. When they start doing this, when they start whining, this is what I'm going to do. When they start to try to get out of it by saying, I'm hungry, or I'm going to go use the bathroom, or whatever. So this is what I'm going to do. Make sure that they use the bathroom before. In my class, you got to use the bathroom before you come. Because I want you sitting down and focused with me for an hour. Okay? So having a plan for that. So that's why the way that my students earn points are, the things they have to do to earn their points are set up around these distractions, these common distractions that kids have to get out of doing their work, because I want them to be with me and focus on what I'm doing and what we're doing as a class for the whole entire hour. Okay? So this is what I'm telling you at home. At home, when it's time for your child to do homework, or you want them to study or practice something, think about all the things they do to get out of it, and then have a plan for it. So that when they start, it doesn't drive you crazy. You don't end up changing what you're doing. You don't fall for it, okay? Right? So that's why it's good to have a behavior plan. So number 1, set a goal. Number 2, believe that they can do it. We always want to set goals. We set a goal. We're not setting a goal to be like, well, maybe they can do it, or I hope. No, we're getting it done, and we're going to believe that this is going to happen. We're going to set the goal. Goals that are meant to be accomplished, okay? Set the goal, believe that they can do it. Number 3, tell them what you want to see, how you want it done, okay? This is teaching them discipline. They get the discipline from us, and then they develop self-discipline, right? And number 4, have a behavior plan for when they don't want to do their work independently by themselves and they try to pull you in. Number 5, equip them, right? Number 5, equip them. So if you know your child struggling with their sight words, and they have trouble reading, but they don't know their sight words, they need to know them. If your child is not good with reading comprehension, they read, but then when it's time to answer the questions, they don't do too well with the questions. You gotta figure out why exactly that is, and develop a plan for it, and equip them. Make sure that they are very good at reading comprehension questions. Okay, so anything that your child doesn't know, they have to know, and that's what I say to them. Whatever you don't know, you will know. Okay. All right, because this is what's holding our kids back. So we have a plan to equip them in the areas where they're struggling, whether it be academically, even math, okay, times tables. All my students in my math word problem class, they had to work on their timetables. They have to master them, because when you're doing math, multiplication is coming up all over the place, right? So you have to master this. So whatever your child doesn't know, they need to be working on mastering, okay? So when they sit down and do their homework independently, do they have to know everything to be able to do that? No. We're not going to wait for that. You know why? Because if we don't have that structure in place and they don't feel like they have to sit down and they have to focus on it and they have to do it themselves first before you come, and they have to work until it's time, until it's time to finish, right? They're not developing that self-discipline. No matter what we try to teach them, they're not going to learn it, and they're not going to progress very fast because they have all these things that they do when they come across the work that they don't know. So, you're going to equip them. You're going to have a behavior plan in place, but you're also going to equip them and make sure that they're learning and make sure they're growing. I'm going to say something quick about learning and growing. Once your child starts to experience success and growth, they fight less. They will fight less, okay? Because they start to really get into it. They start to really enjoy it. Because I know how to read this now. I'm very good at that. I have spelling challenges in my program with my students, and they love the spelling challenges. And I throw all kind of words at them, right? But they are really, really invested in it because I'm getting better at my spelling. Even tell them I'm getting better at my spelling, or I'm surprised that I won the challenge. One of my students just told me recently, right? So equipping them, but they have to have that structure in place. Where are they going to get that structure from? You. You're going to get structure from you, right? You're going to get structure from knowing Mom's serious about this. Mom don't want to hear nothing else. Mom wants me to do it this way. If it's not this way, she's going to tell me to do it again. Okay? Right? How you doing? How you doing, Takesha? We rocking and rolling, right? We got a couple more. Okay? So set a goal. You believe that they can do it. Tell them what you want. Use the I want. Behavior plan, equipping them. And then have them do it every day. So what I mean by that is have it in their routine. Okay? So I recommend that kids read for a certain amount of time, especially if they have improved their reading. They need to be reading every day. Now, I know some of y'all are saying, but we should let them be a kid. I believe they should read every day. I believe they should write every day. Okay? Because that's how you get better. You do a little bit every day. My students, I have a lot of different groups. Some of them meet with me 2 times a week. If they need a little more the 2 days a week, they meet with me 3 days a week. And then I provide extra sessions if I still think you need a little bit more. I want to work with you one-on-one or something, right? But the days that they don't meet with me, I be telling them, practice. One of my students, practice your division steps. Because you keep getting stuck at this part. We work through it in class, but next class, you get stuck at that part again. So practice, okay? So everybody should be practicing. Should they let them be kids. They work all day in school. When they come home, they should be able to rest. Ask yourself this. Anybody that's ever accomplished anything great, did they work on it once in a while, or did they work on it constantly? Right? If you had a goal that you were going to accomplish, right? Like say a marathon. If somebody wants to run a marathon, do they only practice running 2 times a week or 3 times? No, they practice it all the time. And this is how they'll get better, okay? So I don't mean they have to sit for an hour, 2 hours and read, but they should have something that they're working on, that they're reading. They should read a little bit every day. And they should read over tough parts. Sometimes when I work with my students, if they have a paragraph that they struggle with, I tell them to write the paragraph down and practice it. Okay? They need to practice every single day. So your child, if they are going to get better at working independently, doing their homework independently, then they need to get used to doing it independently. And let me tell you what happens. You do this for 2 days, and then 3 days, you let them take a break. On the 4th day, you try it again. Now it's like you start from scratch. Now you gotta start from scratch, getting them to sit down, getting them to concentrate, getting them to have all their stuff ready. But if you do it every day, a little bit every day, then it becomes like a part of the routine. It becomes automatic. Okay? And they're like, I already did it for my students. I already wrote my name and date on a paper machine now. I got my stuff ready. I'm already prepared for success. It's one of the things they have to do to earn their points. Have your notebook and your pencil ready, right? All right. So it becomes a habit, and we are teaching champion habits with our kids. We want them to be champions. We want them to develop different kinds of habits. The other thing I want to say, if they're not doing this, what are they doing? Watching TV? Playing a game? How important is this to you? Do you want them to get progress fast, or you want them to play around with it and go slow? Well, they can sacrifice. Can they sacrifice some of that TV time? Can they sacrifice some of that game time? Right? Can they get up a little early on the weekends? Right? So that they can focus on this. All right. Next, talk about progress. Another thing that's really helpful is talking about kids, their progress with them. When they have personal goals, all my students have personal goals in our program. When we talk about their goal and I ask them how you're doing on your goal, or I see you're really doing good, or you're about to master this goal. Keep going. You made a lot of progress in your goal. Wow, that's good. Look at what you're doing now, and look what you were doing back then. Talking about it means now it's part of their thinking. This is what I'm working on. Okay? So talking about their progress all the time, and then the last one, just keep doing it until it's done. Just keep doing it until it runs by itself. I love that. I love setting up systems that after a while they just run by themselves. A good example, I keep talking about this all the time with my youngest daughter, Maya. She gets her own clothes ready, and in the morning she gets herself dressed, and she comes in, and I'm in the shower, and she's like, I beat you, right? She's trying to hurry up and get dressed before me. I had to work with her on that for about 2 weeks. Doing drills, getting dressed, picking out your own stuff and what you need. And I need to see t-shirt, I need to see this, I need to see this is what I want. I want you to look like this, I want you ready like this, I want you. And now she does it herself. She just comes in, and what do I know what she wearing for the day? After she get dressed, she come in and she's like, I beat you. She's sitting there looking all cute, posing and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I set up that routine. So set this up, do the work in the beginning for whatever you want your child to accomplish, what you want them to be doing during study time. Tell them exactly what you want to see. And don't worry about the protest. Don't worry about their face looking all crunchy, you know, right? Or how they feel about it, right? Because that's temporary. And if you want them to grow to this level, all the complaining and everything is at this level. So we're not really going to focus on that. We're going to keep saying this is what we want, and we're going to keep the standard high until they start to move higher, and they meet it. And when they meet it and they experience that success, they're going to feel good. And now it's time for the next goal. Okay? Because that's how we do it. Now it's time for the next goal. Okay? All right? So functioning independent, doing the homework by himself, your child's homework by themselves, isn't really about what they know academically. Because my students, I teach them that in the beginning when they first start coming to my class. And some of my students are functioning way below their grade level when they come. Some of my students are doing very well, and their moms just want them to be advanced, right? So they have different levels. So it's not about that. It's about establishing a structure so that they can have a self-party. We talk about that. There's self-discipline, self-control, self-motivation, self-accountability, self-awareness, right? Self-love. So they're focusing on what they want to accomplish themselves, right? That's what it's all about. Telling them exactly what you want to see and putting that structure in place and having these high expectations and then having them hit. That's how we do. All right? So I hope y'all got a lot out of this live about helping our kids function independently. I just want to tell you really quick why this is important to me. I told you when I first started doing this, I was working as a special education teacher with kids who were diagnosed with behavior disorders and had behavior challenges. So when I first went to the classroom, they was in there cursing and throwing chairs and fighting and running out of the classroom and not doing no work and all kind of stuff, right? So, but when I went in there, I'm like, I don't know what y'all think this is, but this is a classroom. Y'all gonna learn, okay? Y'all gonna do work. That's what we do here. So my students were so preoccupied with their behavior, how they was feeling in the moment, what they didn't want to do, right? They was preoccupied with all that nonsense that all they were doing was behavior. They forgot to be students, okay? And underneath all that behavior, I learned, is them feeling insecure about stuff, feeling like they can't do something. A lot of them couldn't read, right? Another part of it is they just develop patterns to get out of doing things that they don't want to do, right? So all of this, how did I get them to totally transform and be on point and know the schedule better than me and be leaders and improve their grades and improve their behavior and their focus and feel good about themselves? Well, I taught them. I did not help them. I taught them to function independently. I told them what I wanted them to do, what would make me proud, what I wasn't going to tolerate, and I created a community where all the kids held each other accountable, but they did it themselves. I did not sit next to nobody. I didn't allow any aides, and it took a while for aides to go into a classroom with me and be okay with it, because she was chilling most of the day. My students, they worked. They worked hard, when it came to their own learning. They did their writing themselves first, and we edited it together, but they had to write first. I had them even cleaning up the classroom. I had them, sweeping the classroom and cleaning the boards, the old school, okay? They worked. Our students and our kids, they have to work, okay? So this is very important to me. If we don't teach our kids to function independently and we let them have too much help, especially in schools, then that's what they think, that's what they get used to. And year after year, they don't even know how smart they are or what they can accomplish. They're so busy trying to get help and for somebody to make it easier for them. So let's raise these standards, have high expectations for our kids, expect them to do it. Keep at it. Keep telling them to do it until it gets done. Don't worry about their complaining. I've heard a lot of complaining over the years, y'all. Okay, so I know how to turn it off. All right? So don't worry about their complaining. And I'm saying what they don't want to do. Because how could they know how amazing they are or how amazing it's going to turn out on the other end? They don't. So we can't lower to their level where they're complaining right now, where they want to stay, their comfort level. We have to raise the expectations and let them know this is absolutely under no circumstances or you're not going to do this. And you're going to do an excellent job. And keep at it until you get it. Okay? So I'm just saying that for moms that's like, okay, I'm going to go in here and I want to put these standards in place. I'm going to tell them, but what am I going to do when they start crying? What are they going to do when they start throwing a tantrum? What am I going to do when they start having an attitude or saying they can't do it? Or when they sit for hours and don't do it because they trying to do a standoff with me? I know about that too, okay? What am I going to do? Don't worry about it. That's them just trying to see if you're going to back down and change and trying to get out of doing it. But stay on it, stick to your guns, and y'all grow together, and you'll be surprised, amazingly surprised, what the outcome will be. Okay? Look, I know it might be easier said than done from chatting with me right now. We just sitting here. I'm in my living room, probably in your living room, car in the bath. I'm down in the bathroom, in the kitchen, right? If you want to talk more about it, if your child is struggling academically or reading below grade level, or if your child's in special education, you want them to improve enough to go back to general education, or if you just want your child to be challenged and grow and be advanced, you want to talk to me, go ahead and send me a message, a direct message, or go to growthinstitute.mykajabi.com for more information. Mr. Arnett in the house. Hello. Jamaica in the house, y'all. Jamaica's in the house. How you doing, lady? I'm just wrapping up. So this is a hashtag replay about getting our children to function independently or do their homework independently without us. Okay? Without us. All right? Do their homework, and then when we come in and come back to them, they have it done. And they're like, this is what I did. And I checked it. I checked over my work. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's so nice to see you. So nice to see you. Right? So moms, believe in yourself, okay? I'm telling you, anything that you are struggling right now with your child, any challenges they're having, is temporary. There's always a solution to every issue, okay? There's always a solution, and you know what? There's always growth. There's always growth. So wherever you are right now, whatever your child is not doing right now that you want them to accomplish, whatever you're dealing with right now, tell yourself that's temporary, and then imagine what you want it to actually look like, and then develop a plan to get there. I mean, that's how I do all day, every day, okay? And even in my own personal life, same thing. There's nothing that I don't think I could overcome. I'm just hard-headed like that. So if I have a problem, I'm like, it's not going to stay like this. This is where I want it to be. How can I make this happen? Think the same with your children. You want them to function independently when it's time to do their homework and schoolwork at school too? Then that's what they need to do. All right? You got this. You got this. Right, Takesha? Darnett? You got this. We got this. We moms got this. All right? Moms are superheroes. All right? So, like I said, go to growthinstitute.mykajabi.com for more information. Okay? Or you can send me a direct message. I told you a little bit about the success that's happening in the program. New success. My student that's in preschool that's now in the beginners elementary group, she got promoted and she's doing pretty good. She's doing pretty good already. I'm very excited. I have another student that's been struggling with his sight words, and the whole entire Deutsch sight word list my students have to learn. Okay? And he mastered it, and now we're moving on to the next goal. I have students on the honor roll. I have more students going to the honor roll. I have 2 students that I'm talking to their teachers about transitioning out of special education into general education setting. Okay? I have new students coming in as well. Did an action plan review with a mom today. She's very happy with her son's growth. No more problems in school. No more problems at home. And he's also doing great in my program. But we're not going to stop. Okay? We're not going to stop until we master everything in the action plan. Okay? So even if your child experiences success really fast, or you see growth really fast, then think about what else do you want? What else do you want to accomplish? What else do you want to accomplish? Growth is unlimited. Growth is unlimited, okay? So, and plus you have to keep working on growing so that the consistency, so that everything, you develop that foundation, okay? So yeah, he's improved a lot over, 2 months? But we ain't stopping. We're still moving because that's what we do, okay? That's what we do. Maya is in my early learning group, my youngest daughter, and she's going to get promoted soon, probably in the next couple of weeks, to the beginners elementary group because she can read. Okay, at 4 years old, she can read, she can spell, she can write sentences. She's doing very well. So it's not just, and I have my oldest daughter, Jasmine, in my middle and high school group. So I'm not just a professional. I was a mental health specialist, a special education teacher. Now I work from home, but primarily I'm a coach. But before that, I'm a mom. My kids are in my program too. So I'm not teaching anything to y'all kids that I'm not teaching to mine. I'm tough on my students. I have high expectations for my students, and I have the same for my own kids, all right? I love my own kids, but I love my students too, all right? So that's how we get down to the Mark Unlimited Growth Institute. So again, you want to contact me, those are the ways. Thank y'all for hanging with me today. Miss Takesha, Miss Darnett, so nice to see y'all. As always, all right? Believe in yourself, moms. Believe in your child. And always remember that growth is unlimited. Peace.